Suprabhatam friends, welcome to my channel Plants and Me. This is Dr. Devi from Mangaluru, Karnataka, India. I had ordered Hoyas online from a seller who sells Hoyas online. This is Hoya surigavensis. It has got this lovely sun stressing. Even the flowers are beautiful. It has come like this in a pot. Actually, this is a pot with quite a bit of openings here. He has covered this. This is a particular orchid pot. There is a peduncle here, but this seems to have dried up. I bought it because it has got peduncle, but I don't think that is going to bloom again. Another plant is Hoya lauterbachi. So this leaves very thick and fuzzy. It's very fuzzy. It has come like this again in this pot along with the hanger. There are again quite a few openings here. This also is a orchid pot. So I am going to repot this. I had one lauterbachi earlier which I lost a few days back. Then I have this Hoya pachiclada. The flowers have got red corona. These leaves are also very thick, fuzzy, succulent type of leaves. Then I have this Hoya patela but white flowers. Hoya patela pink is the commonest one available. This is a little uncommon. This also has got very fuzzy thick leaves, but not as thick as this surigavensis or this lauterbachi. So this is quite a small cutting. Again, this patela white I had earlier, but somehow that didn't survive with me. So all these plants will be getting repotted. I will be repotting Hoya lauterbachi first. This is the usual cocoa chips. It's available in all the nurseries. To this I am adding pumice stone powder. That is not perlite, it is pumice stone powder. I am adding equal quantity of pumice stone powder. Cocoa chips already give that airy type of potting mix to the Hoyas. I have added this to give more airy feeling to the roots. Now this is the pot I am going to use for lauterbachi. This is a plant. I am going to transfer it to this. For this plant, this pot seems to be a bit big, but I have chosen this pot with a reason. Lauterbachi is very sensitive to overwatering. It cannot tolerate even underwatering. So the roots need to be watered well every time. They should not undergo root rot also. So keeping all this in mind, I have chosen this pot. To that, at the base, I am adding leca balls. These are lightweight clay balls. The actual clay processed into this balls. So at the base, I have added quite a bit of this leca balls. I will now remove this plant from this pot. It has been fixed here. It has been fixed here. I will remove this. Here also it is fixed. Very thin wire. It must be a special wire for these Hoyas. It's just twisted around. Yes. The hanger is out. This is just coconut chunks and a bit of perlite. Perlite will crumble like this, whereas pumice stone powder doesn't crumble that easily. So I am removing this from this pot. It's a well-rooted plant and the roots are into the coconut chunks, but as I said, the plant doesn't like wet roots, so I'm trying to separate or remove the coconut chunks as much possible and free the roots. Very well developed roots. Even if I lose a few root strands, it's okay. In the long run, these chunks, they will rot and hold quite a bit of water, and the plant is bound to go into root rot. So I came up with this idea of using leca under the roots. This can be retained because if I try to remove this, root will get cut. Yes. Now I am going to place this on this leca balls. Under the roots, again leca balls, so that the roots are protected from excessive moisture, excessive water. Now on this I will put this cocoa chips and pumice stone powder mixture, potting mix. This leaf yellow due to stress due to transit. Now this is for Surigaensis. I have put plain cocoa chips at the base because these holes, they need to be covered, otherwise the potting mix will come out. I will separate the plant from the pot. Keep this side. I don't know if this peduncle is going to survive. It had come covered in sponge, plastic sponge. This doesn't have very good roots. I don't know why the roots are not very fresh also. When the plant came, the potting mix was too dry. Then I watered it and I let it be for 2 days. And today I am repotting it. But it doesn't seem to have much roots. I'll put leca here. That's it. I'll be doing same with the other two plants also. This has come in cocoa peat, pure cocoa peat, which is not good for the Mangalore climate. Okay rooted, not much. So I am placing the roots over the leca, and now I am covering with the potting mix. So this is patela white, this is pachiclada with red corona, this is the lauterbachi, and this is the surigavensis. Sunlight requirement for the Hoyas. All the Hoyas are epiphytic, only one or two few here and there which are terrestrial. So the sunlight requirement for the Hoyas which are epiphytic is that the sunlight should fall from in between the tree leaves. That means indirect light or filtered light. They grow on tree barks, so the sunlight which falls on these Hoyas is partial, broken light from in between the leaves. So same type of sunlight these Hoyas should be getting. And amongst this, the Lauterbache which I talked about, it is said that it should be allowed to climb up. Usually, these are all creepers. Usually what we do is, Hoyas we take and wind them round and round there itself. So with Lauterbache, that doesn't work. It should be allowed to climb up. So it climbs up in natural habitats also. It climbs up the trees, and on the tree trunks on the top, it gives those big, large, huge flowers, lovely, awesome flowers. So what I am going to do is, I am going to keep this Lauterbache under one bean creeper I have got. It's quite huge. I'll allow it to climb, and then I will give it some other support so that it goes on to the terrace, and probably after that I will give it a mesh or something, steel mesh or something, on which it will creep along, so it will be getting that feeling of climbing above the tree. So that is my plan. So Lauterbache requires less water compared to others. It likes to climb up, and sunlight also filtered sunlight. Nutrition, all these Hoyas, they get vermicompost, bone meal and Epsom salt as their nutrition. I usually mix it in the cocoa chips itself. Today I didn't have, so I did not mix, but otherwise we can mix it later into the potting mix, because the coconut chips do not have any nutrition in them, so we need to give the plant the nutrition it needs. Then water requirements. I do not allow the roots of the Hoyas to dry out completely. Usually, on internet and in some videos, we find the information that the Hoya's potting mix should be allowed to dry out completely, or at least the top 1 inch or so, and then water it. My logic is, these Hoyas are epiphytes. They grow on the tree barks. and into the bark they will put some adventitious roots. And tree bark is always moist. It's not soggy, but it's always moist. So these Hoyas, they absorb nutrition from the tree bark. So obviously, according to my logic, allowing the potting mix to dry out completely will not be that good idea. I do not allow the Hoya's potting mix to dry out completely. I water them twice a week in summer, and we do not have winter as such in Mangalore, but whenever the temperature falls off, I water them once in a week. I keep the potting mix continuously moist. I do not allow it to dry out completely. So that was the repotting of my special plants today, Surigamensis and Lauterbache. They both are rare plants. I really wish that this Lauterbache now stays with me and it blooms, and I am lucky enough to witness those large, huge blooms which the world talks about. It is said that getting Lauterbache to bloom is a little difficult, and I have taken up the challenge. Let's see what happens. Thanks for joining. Take care. Bye.